everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, my name's Em, I love all things planning and stationery, and today I thought I'd do a little plan with me in my Hobonichi Weeks and just kind of talk you through my weekly planning routine. So to kick off, these are the 3 planners that are my kind of regular go-tos that I use every day and every week. First up we have my pocket Moterm, which I just shared a setup video for that, which I will link in the cards. This is basically my purse, and I just kind of carry a few kind of notes and things and my monthly plan, so that when I'm out and about I can, you know, book an appointments, events, things like that. I then have my Hobonichi Weeks. There is a setup video for this as well. This is kind of my base planner. Everything goes in here. It's kind of the potentially messy planning. Sometimes there'll be a little bit of journaling in here. It's kind of, yeah, it's just the brain of me. I do have a monthly setup in here, but generally this just lives out on my desk like this, and I just, you know, tick off my to-do lists, etc. as I go along. I then have my Hobonichi cousin. Guess what? There's a setup post, or a setup video rather, about this too. This has got a combination of things. It's got my social media planning, which is relevant for this video, and then it's got my weekly planning, which is essentially just kind of stickery, journally, kind of bit of a creative outlet kind of planning. These are all the planners that I need when I'm setting up a week fresh in here, and I'll talk you through kind of what I do, how I do it, and the steps that I go through kind of alongside any of this. So first things first, as part of my planning routine, I will do a little calendar sync. So I don't like a load of duplication in my planners, but what I do have is duplication in the monthlies between these two, because I need to know my plans when I'm out and about, and obviously I need them in my base planner. What I'll do at the start of the week, or, you know, on a Sunday, whenever it is that I you know, set up my plans for the week, I will go to the monthly page in my everyday carry, and I will just match it up against what's in the monthly in the Hobonichi Weeks, and just make sure that I've captured absolutely everything, and anything that is missing I will just write in here. So taking a quick look at the weeks, that's been cancelled, so that doesn't need to go in. That's already in there. The only thing missing is a nail appointment, so I will go and write that in using my Sarasa pen. I keep the monthly spreads in here really simple, kind of messy. It is just for kind of quick jotting and quick referring to. The only things that are colour coded are birthdays and events, and I just use these just to mark them off, and these are the ones that I'll sit and actually kind of properly write in here at the start of the year or the start of the month, how often I do it. Yeah, green is F1 and pink is birthdays, etc. So now that everything matches up in here, I'll just check April, because this week goes across into April, and everything matches. So the reason why I do this first of all is because when I'm setting up a new week, I don't want to have to flick back through to my monthly view. It's just a bit of a faff. So what I like to do is have this open to refer to, so I can just quickly jot down and not have to be constantly faffing. So now that my monthly matches in here, I can get cracking to setting up the week. I have been experimenting with a few different layouts recently. I'm trying to kind of keep this quite simple, particularly now that I'm doing a bit more planning in my cousin, a bit more kind of pretty planning. I just like to keep this very simple, very, I mean, functional is the best word for it. So with that in mind, I've just been doing some slight kind of marking out of the columns. So if you've never used a cousin a weeks before, they do have little dots there, so you can create some nice areas to kind of partition out your weeks. So what I do in here is I have a third for events of the day, so that's any appointments, any day trips, birthdays go in there. I then have the middle third for exercise. I'm really trying to do a lot more in terms of my health. I had a really great January, and then February and March has not been as great, but if I keep it front and center and hopefully, you know, feel the shame when I go to review the week and go, oh, look at all those days I didn't do any exercise, I'm hoping over time that will help. And then over on this side, as you'll see here, I just have a simple Alistair method. I have done putting tasks in there. What I find is that sometimes I won't necessarily do the tasks on that day, and I don't want to migrate from one day to the next, and it just seems to kind of get a bit messy really quickly. Whereas if I just use the Alistair method, I can do a brain dump of all my tasks for the week and then either leave it blank, and so I can just do it as I come to it, and then for anything that does need to be done on a certain day, I can obviously put it in there. If I don't do it on that day, I just put another dot in and you know, cross it off on the day. But also it does mean that for tasks that I do more than once a week, like watering plants, doing Etsy orders, etc., I don't have to keep rewriting it out. I literally just add more dots as I go along. So that's how I've been kind of setting up this right hand page, and then just adding in a extra bit was something that I started probably 2 weeks ago, yeah, just for extra bits and pieces. So I always like to have a waiting for section for any emails, any payments, any happy mail. And then I also from last week added in this next week block, just so I could start doing a bit of a brain dump of anything that I knew I'd need to do next week and just have somewhere to capture it. Some weeks I organise myself a bit better and I'll set up the following week and then I can just write it in as I go along, but actually otherwise this space would be quite unused, so I quite like having a specific next week block. So I'm just gonna, there is no kind of specific width to this. It doesn't need to be huge, it's just kind of filling up a bit of empty space. That will be fine. And I'll just add in this here. Last week I used highlighters just to mark out the titles. I didn't really like that, as I then found going over it in the fountain pen, it just made the fountain pen really bold and I didn't like how that looked, so I'm just going to keep it simple this week. I'm also using pencil rather than the gel pen, because I didn't like how it looked, particularly where kind of the ink got a bit blobby. So everything is kind of lined up like that. So the first thing I'll do is I will write in my events for the week from my EDC. And that is everything entered in for the week ahead. Obviously, as I get more plans throughout the week, I will edit them in. The next thing I'll do, keeping kind of within this first column, is then commit my social media planning to the week. So everything in terms of YouTube and the blog is scheduled a few weeks in advance. The only thing that isn't is my Instagram. So what I'll do is go into my cousin and I'll just look at what I've got planned in for the week and add that in as an entry in that first column. And that's that done. The next bit is obviously my exercise bit, so I will leave that blank until as and when. This bit is what I've been using for a bit of kind of random sticker journaling, so just kind of doing a bit of a highlight of the day. So I'll leave that obviously blank and fill that in as I go along. Next I have my Alistair Method calendar, well, Alistair Method to-do list set up, so I'll just go ahead and write in the heading of that and the other elements. Because the natural kind of column in this, you might be able to see kind of a slightly thicker line there. So because that's only 6 squares, I didn't want to put the line over to include all 7 days, so what I do is just Monday to Friday, and then it'll be for weekend, because I generally won't have many tasks that are, you know, Saturday or Sunday specific. Okay, so that's that setup. The next bit will be basically just populating the to-do list. So this will come from a variety of places. There will be the bit that I added in for next week from my previous week. We'll pop that in. Anything outstanding that I haven't done this week, I've ticked everything off, so that's all good. I will then consult the back of here, which is where I've got my task cards. These are just handy little reminders of anything that needs to be done weekly or monthly, so I'll go through, add those in. As it's coming up to month end, there will be some monthly tasks as well as my usual kind of weekly tasks. Finally, I will then just quickly look at the monthly pages, because here I put in any general monthly to do. So it might be kind of birthday presents that need to be bought, or you know, I change my toothbrush and mascara every quarter and it's coming up to the end of the quarter, so that will have to get added in, and I'll bring all of that together to list out all the tasks for the week. Next, I will then go and add in anything that I know will need to be done that isn't necessarily, you know, kind of task card relevant. So things like orders. There'll always be orders that need to be done, so I will split those out. And then I'll just go and have a think if there's anything else that I know I need to put in. So, for example, I'm going away this weekend, so I'll need to pack. Once I've done that, I'll then just go through and start marking off anything that I'll do, that I know that I will do on certain days. So, you know, things like doing end of the month stuff will all get done at the weekend, like so. And because I'm away at the weekend, there'll be other things that I'll probably do kind of on Sunday when I get back, or maybe on Friday before I go, just to kind of get that done. I know when I do my usual kind of household chores or put them in. Water plants, I have an app that tells me when to water my plants, so I will do that as and when and just add it in. So I'm just going to go through and kind of fill out everything. Okay, now that's all done, I will just move over anything that I know I'm still waiting on into the next block. And that is pretty much it. I don't have anything to write in for the following week yet, but that will probably get populated as I go on. And that's basically it. So very quick setup. It's a deliberate thing, particularly if, you know, I've run out of time on a Sunday night. I don't like waking up the next day knowing that I haven't set up for the week, so I like to make it as quick and efficient as possible. I do really like the Alistair method. I've used it on and off for a few years, and it works for me in terms of how my brain works and how my weeks often go. I don't like, you know, having the commitment of doing a set portion of things a day and then I don't get to do it. I'd just rather have a whole list there, and it's just easy to move from one day to the next. So there you have it. There is my simple kind of weekly planning routine and planner setup for my weeks. I really enjoy using this planner for how quickly I can set it up each week. I don't like anything that's too big and elaborate. I just want to spend no more than 10 minutes setting up my week, because if I go into Monday and it's not set up, then I don't feel good about the start of the week. I don't feel organized. I don't feel like I fully know what I'm doing. So yeah, this kind of method of setting up has been working really well for me. the Alistair method, I've used it on and off for years. I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it. It won't necessarily work for everyone, but for me and for this planner, it's just a dream combo. If you do have any questions about how I set up or how I use my weeks or how I kind of work in my cousin weekly planning into here, let me know and I will be more than happy in the comments to answer any questions. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.